Welcome to part 2 of the toilet series. In the previous video we've set the reference images on planes so we can easily follow them for modeling, and in this video we will proceed to model the bowl of the toilet. First of all, before we proceed, I want to thank you for watching my videos and thank you for all your support. Let's get to it. So this is where we've left off in the previous video. First, we will make a box, and with Move Transform selected, we will move it to the center of the 3D world. After that, we will need to set the proper dimensions. So we can go into the Modify tab now, and first we will input the width dimension, which is 49.4 centimeters. After that, we will input the height, which is 39.8 centimeters. And lastly, we will input the length dimension, which is 71 centimeters. After that, we will make the object see-through. So in order to do so, right-click in the viewport and select Object Properties from the quad menu. Then from the display properties, select see-through and click OK. You can also use the shortcut, which is Alt+X. Further down the road, I will use the shortcut instead of navigating in the object properties. Now you can go to the left view. So you can move the box to correspond with the reference image in the front. Also note that the dimension in length is for the whole toilet, including the water tank. We will also check the box from the front view. Now in this case we have 3 points of interest from the front that we will need to pay attention to when we begin with modeling. Also from the side, these 3, and also same thing will be from the top. We have 3 points of interest that we will need to pay attention to. Now we can proceed and convert the box to editable poly. So we will start modeling from the front view. Enable vertex selection by pressing 1 or clicking on the vertex icon in the Selection tab. Select the top vertices and use the Scale transform on X-axis to set them to fit the reference. After that, move them down a bit to set them to fit the toilet bowl on the reference. After that, select the bottom vertices and scale them to fit the reference. Then again, check if you need to tweak the top vertices again. After that, we can enable edged faces so we can see the edges in the viewport. Change the selection to edges and select all 4 vertical edges. After that, we will connect them. In order to do so, click on the little box next to Connect to open the settings. Choose one segment and click on the check button. Go back to the front view and change the selection to vertices. Make sure that you only have the middle vertices selected and proceed to scale them to fit the reference. We will make sure to follow only one side of the line, so in this case the outer side of the line. After that, go to left view, and as we can see now, we here have to also tweak the vertices in the front, so select them and proceed to tweak them. Now for the back part, for the sake of the tutorial, I will make the back of the toilet flat, and I will not focus on this shape right here. We really don't need to add so much detail to the back part. After that, we can go into the front view again and make sure that you are in edge selection and select the top 4 vertical edges and connect them with one segment. Then repeat the same for the bottom 4 edges. Take vertex selection and with scale transform just set them to fit the outer line on the reference. Also check if everything is okay and check from the front side and move and tweak as needed. So now we can move the middle vertices up a bit, something like this, and we will make sure that in the front it follows the reference, something like that, and I think we are okay for now. So now from the top view, we will select all of these vertices and check if they correspond with the width of the reference, and we will put them back in the same place where they were. We will add a swift loop on the place that we suppose that it is the widest, right here. And then I was thinking about rotating these vertices and maybe tweaking them first, but instead I think we will take a different path right here. So go into edge selection and select these edges and connect them with one segment. After that, select these vertices and pull them back a bit and tweak as needed to set them to look as on the reference. So just try and make it to look as close as possible as on the reference. So you can use scale, you can use rotate and move as needed. You can do whatever you want. Just feel free to make them look as close to the reference image as possible. Also, I want to say that you will need to focus on one side only, so I'm focusing on the left side right now. Just proceed with tweaking. If we go in the front view, we can see that only the left side is tweaked for now, so the right side is not. And we will go into edge selection, select this edge and click on ring right here, so we get the ring selected, and we will connect it with one segment, so we get an edge loop in the middle right here. Next thing, we need to select these vertices and select the ones that are on the end right here and connect them. So this way we have an edge loop that goes across the middle of the object. And with polygon selection, we can select the right side, and by clicking delete, we can erase the polygons. So now we have only one side of the model, and later we will use Symmetry to build it. On the top view, we will select these vertices and we will tweak them for now a bit. Maybe scale them down, maybe rotate something like this. And just place them as close as you can, as you think that they would fit on the reference. So press F3 to go into the wireframe mode. So in wireframe mode, we will check if the topology actually is good for now, and I think that I could move these vertices for now. Just feel free to tweak whatever you want. After you have something like this, we will select these vertices and we will connect them. So go ahead, select them and press on connect. After that, select the Swift Loop tool and while holding shift, add edges here and here. So holding shift will add edges with in the middle with flow, so the final result is an arc. And when done, select the previously added edges and delete them. Press F3 to go back into shaded mode and get this edge loop, and from Edit Geometry tab, right here, select the edge constraint and pull it up a bit. Go into Vertex Selection and select None on the Constraints tab and move the vertices a bit to fit the reference. Then also take these vertices, constrain them by edge and pull them up a bit. And again, set constraints to none and tweak to fit the reference image. Just do keep in mind and not forget to set the constraints to none. So now we can check the model from the front view, and if needed, you can move the vertices to set them to fit on the reference. So maybe tweak something like this, like select these three vertices, pull them up a bit, maybe scale them, maybe pull these vertices. So feel free to edit however you like it. We're going to put two edges here with Swift Loop, of course, and we're going to tweak like the vertices now with scale and with move. We're just going to scale and move and scale and move until we like how it looks. So here I've noticed that some of the vertices are not on the same planar level. So to clarify this, I want the vertices for this particular model to be, at least for now, the vertices that are forming the same loop to be on the same height. So to fix this, we can select vertices and click on to align them on Z axis right here. Proceed to fix the issue as shown in the following steps. So just repeat until you're satisfied. Now if we go in the front view, we can clearly see that we need to add more geometry right here and here. So we can add an edge loop with the Swift Loop tool right here. We can also add loops here, here, and here. Then we can proceed to tweak them. So just use scale and move tool, just like that. Just scale and move, scale and move. And when we're satisfied, we can proceed. So now we need to add a loop right here, because if we proceed and add a Swift loop here with holding shift, we can see that it will mess up our topology. So in order to fix this, we need to add a loop as close as we can to the edge here, and then add a Swift loop with holding shift. Now select the previously added edge and delete it. Always delete edges by pressing Ctrl plus backspace. That way you will delete the whole edge with the vertices, and if you click only backspace, you will delete only the edges. Now press M to open the material editor and drag a standard material into the view and assign that material to the ball. It's way better to work with gray material on. than with the randomly set color that 3ds Max give when you create an object. So now set a loop right here and go in the top view and check if the model needs tweaking. So in this case it will need some tweaks, so we can proceed and tweak the model. So select these vertices and pull them out a bit, then maybe select this inside and pull them out, and just go and tweak however you want to your liking. Just try to make it as close as possible to the reference image. I will just proceed with tweaking. Just try to get it as close as I can to the reference. Then also scale, we're not going to scale this, we are going to just move it like this, and also select the back vertices and move them to fit the reference image. So this seems okay for now, only I think that we should make this one thing. So we should remake this edge, so go ahead and select it and delete it and add with Swift Loop if needed. So don't forget to hold shift if you want the edge to flow. Also add some more edges. Now also here you will need to add an edge as close as possible to the edge, to the border actually, so the loop will flow. Then after that just delete the edge that you've previously added. Also now you can proceed to tweak. Just make it to look like on the reference. So move a couple of vertices, something like here and there, you know. Just try to make it look as close as possible to the reference. Now it really does not have to be like 100% like the reference, but it would be just better to follow it. Now we will also add a loop right here, and we'll check it from the side, so we still have some tweaking to do. So we're just going to select these vertices and move them back a bit. So you can select something like this and move them all together, and then deselect one row and move, and then again one row, deselect and move, and keep repeating until you've finished. Also make sure that the bottom ones are in place, and check if you have something like this. So like maybe pulled it before, I didn't see it. So check again from all sides, and I think we are good for now. So we can apply symmetry on the x-axis, and now note that I flip because the symmetry works from right to left, but I'm a lefty, so I work from left to right, so it's strange for me. Also I set the thresholds to 0.01, both of the thresholds, and now we have a perfect symmetry model from the toilet bowl. So we can just check it from all the sides, and now maybe I think we have too much geometry, so we got these edges and we will ring them and then click on collapse, so it will collapse the edges. Now we'll add a couple more edge loops and select these edges, ring them and collapse them. So we have this, well, I'm gonna say low poly ball of a toilet for now. So we'll just select the middle edge and split it, select that half and delete it. Let's just look around and see if everything seems to be okay. Now we can add symmetry again on x-axis, flip it and set the thresholds to 0.01. After that you can collapse it to editable poly. So now we will need to get into polygon selection and get these the top polygons and the bottom polygons, so we can inset them. So let's just check the width of the inset. 1 centimeter is too small, maybe 2 or even maybe 4 centimeters, we'll see. This looks better definitely, but instead of doing that, I'm thinking I will go back for now. I don't know. I'm just gonna go back and select also these polygons, and then we'll add an inset, just so I don't have too much cleaning to do. But we'll add smaller insets, so something like 2.5. Now let's check what we have. I think that there's something strange going on. Yes, there's something strange going on with the vertices here after we've added the inset. So just go ahead and select the back vertices, all of them, and make them planar on y-axis. That will fix the problem. Also, just go ahead and select the top vertices and make them planar on z-axis, not on y, as shown there. And select the bottom ones also and make them planar on z-axis. So that fixes the problem that we've had. And now we can end isolate, and we can again check for if we need to tweak the model. So just go ahead and select these polygons, but I think that we will need to add another swift loop here, so let me just add one, like something like this, maybe here. So now we will do the hole for the ball, and just go ahead and select this edge and move it a back bit with edge constraint selected, and remember to always set the constraint to none after you've done the work. Then again, you can see me just scaling things, just setting them up to be according to the reference, and then again set the constraints to none. So select these polygons now, and we will insert them again. So just 2.54 centimeters and click OK. And then vertex by vertex we will set them to just tweak them and set them according to the reference image. So all of them, just proceed. After we are done, we will change the selection to polygon, and we will delete those polygons. So note that 3ds Max will remember the selection. We can add a swift loop somewhere around here and grab the border selection and select this border, and with holding shift drag it down to extrude it, then with holding shift scale it outward, so you will extrude it outward, and then maybe just a bit more, just scale it and then pull it up again with holding shift to extrude it upward a bit. So I think that is good for now. Now we also here have this ridge, which we will add a swift loop right here, so we can select the top polygons, these 4 polygons, and by holding shift and dragging we will extrude them up. When we've done that, we will also delete these polygons. Now double check the model if it looks good, just see if you're missing anything or whatever, and change it to edge faces. Now we can take edge selection and start to select the edges that we will apply chamfer to later. So keep in mind to keep track of what edges you select. Grab all the outer edges, and I think we have everything that we need selected. Maybe this one too, and we will add chamfer. So click on the box to show up the settings. Now we will need a quad chamfer, so select that from the list, and for the chamfer amount we will go somewhere, maybe 1 centimeter, and then we will need to make the tension 0.5. So after we've done that chamfering, we'll select these 2 edge loops, and we will also add chamfer. So we'll play with the amount. Now 1 centimeter is too much, as you can see, so maybe try 0.75. Also too much. Maybe 0.5 is a little, so 0.65, and make sure the tension is to 0.5 so we get the arc, and click on the check icon. So that looks good for now, that looks okay. So the next thing that we will do, we need to take the cut tool, so click on the cut tool here to activate it, and with snapping enabled, just connect these vertices. Also, after you connect these vertices, you right click, so you disable the cut tool. Just take another look around the model. We can maybe add turbo smooth now, just to check how it would look with more geometry on it, with smooth geometry. So turn off the edge faces, and I really think that it looks good. We can isolate also the object, so we get rid of the references and we'll look at. I think it looks good. So now you'll actually have a version for rendering, and you also have an low poly version that, I don't know, maybe you wouldn't want to use that in games, like a game asset or something like that. Now there is one other thing that I think that we should address, so that is maybe putting some supporting edges, because when we've done the chamfers we used only 3 edges, so only 1 segment. So we will proceed to do that thing. So just like, let's take another look and maybe we'll do that. Now we will delete the turbo smooth modifier, and we will fix the normals. So we will add normal modifier with selected unify normals. We will do that 2 times, then we will collapse the model, and after that, with element selection and all selected, we will set the smoothing groups to 1. Just check the model from the bottom. You see this edge might need some fixing, some moving around. Also, I think that this selection will need to, so just select it and get the right selection like this, and from the bottom I will move it somewhere here, so it will make more of an arc instead of being pointy at the front. I will delete the right half with polygon selection, and then I will add a symmetry modifier on the x-axis. We'll flip it, set the threshold to 0.01, and proceed to collapse the model to editable poly. So now I'm thinking that we will add those supporting edges, so just take swift loop, add one edge here, some here, here, here in the back also, down on the bottom. Now it looks way better, as you can see. So that's because basically because the chamfering will do gradient if we don't add those supporting edges, and that gradient will show in the turbo smooth modifier also. So we also need supporting edge here, and I think that we are done for now. So thank you guys for watching this video. This is the second part of the tutorial. I hope you liked it. I hope you will find it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video, and I will see you in the next video.